Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Las Vegas edition of the 5G IoT Summit. We've got a very packed agenda this morning, and I'll briefly go through that with you in a second. But first of all, I'd like to thank our sponsors who've helped in making this summit happen, and that's AT&T, our main gold sponsor, and Valid, our demo sponsor for the event. So very quickly, let's have a quick look at the agenda, and we're going to kick off with our keynote from AT&T, and Cameron Corsi is going to be talking about IoT for good, and we'll be joined by Keegan to have a little discussion about that and how that works out. And then we have our operator panel, in which we have 4 leading operators talking about what the GSMA IoT community are actually doing, how we're evolving into 5G from an IoT perspective. So some interesting things and discussions to happen on that. And then Matt Hatton from Transformer Insights will give us a State of the IoT Nation address. So if you like, a reality check as to where we are in IoT and how we're doing in terms of business and progress, etc., and what's happening in the future. And then this is going to be followed by a presentation from Skylo. So we're looking at non-terrestrial networks, new players into this area, and they're going to give their perspective in terms of what happens in IoT from that. And then our demo partner, Valid, are going to talk about what's happening with eSIM and their view on that and how they're working on IoT in this particular area. And lastly, we have a presentation from IBM. And IBM are going to talk about, well, what about the data and how do we use that data within IoT? So this is another aspect that we need to look into. So first of all, just to say who I am, I lead the GSMA IoT community. My name is Shane Rooney, and I'd like to give you a little bit of insight as to the work that we've been doing over the last couple of years in the IoT community. So at the heart of this community, we have what we call the IoT Forum, the 5G IoT Forum, which is open to all GSMA members. So if you're a GSMA member and not a member of the forum, I would encourage you to get involved because I'm going to talk very briefly about some of the stuff that we have done and the progress we have done in that community. But also we have these little action groups in which anyone can get involved in terms of solving particular problems within the industry, in IoT, or things they've seen with customers that need resolving. And some of that will become apparent in a second. So we've got a whole host of resources as well that are open to everybody that are on the GSMA website, which you can download, and I'll show some of those in a second. So some of the things that we've been working on over the last 2 years or so, things like roaming. When we look at, say, LTM and narrowband IoT, that's very different type of roaming from what we've had from 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G. So we have to do things slightly different, and you have to do things, work with customers slightly different as well in terms of how you deploy that. We now have some history with regards to deployment of LTM and narrowband IoT. There are over 270 networks globally now, so we have a little bit of experience in that, and we've updated the deployment guide, which is available to be downloaded on the GSMA website to anyone as well, to give our experience as to how you can use that. And finally, the other one that I have is about energy efficiency. And what I mean by that is because low-powered wide area networks is all about energy efficiency. It's very important wherever you are in the ecosystem, from network down to device, that you understand how energy is managed, especially if it's a battery-operated IoT device. So all this is available to you on the GSMA website. Just a quick one on our forum. The next forum is in December. Shameful plug. If you want to join us, then get in contact with myself or the coordinator, Dan Hughes.